the Sphere. This episode is sponsored by
Tidal. Tidal's having their 4th annual benefit concert on October 23rd to support criminal justice reforms and support charity organizations such as Equal Justice Initiative, Reform, The Innocence Project, and others. Tidal will be having a free live stream of the entire event and donation opportunities on their website at tidal.com/Brooklyn.
Elite Dental Wellness. At Elite Dental Wellness, Dr. Ashandra Batiste understands that one of the biggest obstacles is dental fear. The vision at Elite Dental Wellness is to ensure every patient is treated with respect, ultimate care, patience, and love. Call us today to make an appointment at area code 713-789-8680. Looking to advertise? Join the Sphere's vast demographic reach of thousands of people all over the world. Send an email today to advertise@thesphere.tv or call us at area code 832-772-7789.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for another amazing edition of Society Now. My name is Kira Laws, and I'm one of your hosts. And you can follow me on Instagram at @TheModernDayCindy. That's Cindy with an I, not a Y. And today we're endeavoring to give you some amazing content that is going to be riveting and exciting, and all those things that is happening in society. We're going to make sure we talk about it. And on my left, my handsome co-host over there.
Hey, what's going on? It's your man, Kalen Laws, a.k.a. Senor Wapo. Do me a quick favor. Go to Instagram, go to Twitter, go to Facebook. You can even go to Snapchat. You really won't see me on there, but you can go there. And you can type in SENORGUAP0713. Give me a shout. Give me a follow. I certainly appreciate you connecting with me on those platforms. You are tuned into Society Now on the Sphere Podcast Network. And we have a phenomenal guest. We got a heavy hitter. We got a giant. Even though she's like 2'3", we got a giant in the building. You understand what I'm saying? We got one of our good friends, man. We've come to develop a very powerful and loving and strong relationship. She's a firecracker, man. She's very capable, more than capable. The wisdom that comes out of her is second to none. The business expertise that she has is for such a time as this. We're going to dig into what her newest and latest project, but she's a business owner with her husband of North Houston Studios. I mean, listen, it's
almost something like, what can't she not do?
Yeah, she's something like a mogul.
Almost.
Come on.
Something.
Come on, mogul
like
ministry.
A mogul, maybe a little bit.
Yeah,
I think she is.
Who we got in the building, baby?
I think it's Dannie Kelly.
Dannie. The crowd goes wild.
What's going on, guys?
You good, D?
Yeah.
Good to see you.
I'm good. Great company. So it's a good Friday.
It is a good Friday. Every Friday is a good Friday.
Yeah.
Show is. Listen, so, let's just jump right in, baby.
So we've said a lot about you, but who are you? Like, how do you feel like you should want to present yourself to the people?
So I've been going as speaker, minister, wifey, entrepreneur, and I am excited because most recently I've added author.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is. I will be releasing my very first written piece ever, and it comes out in November. And the title of my book, devotional, actually, is 15 Simple Revelations for the Millennial Wife. So I'm really excited about it. It's my baby. It took 2 years to get out, and so we here. So yeah.
Girl, that's amazing. So have you always wanted to be an author?
No.
Okay. so how do we get here? So from 2 years later, how did we get here?
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I actually do not like writing.
Oh man, I love writing.
And more than I don't like writing, I think writing always intimidated me.
Okay.
But I love speaking, so I would speak no matter what. But when it came to writing, it just really intimidated me. And 2 years ago, the Lord put me on this journey, and He was like, for 100 days, I'm going to give you simple revelations, and I just want you to put them out on social media, just to encourage people, nothing else. And at the end of the journey, I was like, okay, I wasn't even that into social media to be on it every day. And before you knew it, for 100 days, I ended the 100-day series. I'm like, oh, good. I'm pat on the back. I was obedient. And then God said, yeah, so now I want you to take all of that and I want you to make it a devotional. And I was like, oh, no, that's not what you want me to do, Lord. I'm hearing you wrong. And He just kept talking to me and confirming. You know how when the Lord tell you something, you don't want to do it, and then other people start telling you.
Yeah.
So it was kind of one of those things. So I said, well, let me just kind of play around with it. Let me slightly entertain the idea. And so what I did was I entertained the idea. I pulled everything off of social media. I began to pray over the devotionals because what I was just putting on social media was so short. It was just so short, just like a few sentences.
Right.
And then the Lord said, I want you to take these sentences and I literally want you to elaborate. And I want you to include scripture with it.
Oh,
so
wow.
I took these 100 simple revelations. I broke it up into categories. And the first categories was for millennial wives.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
But see, that's why
dope.
that's why I like God, because He is such a strategist. People don't believe that, but He doesn't. He never tells us to do anything in vain.
Exactly.
And even if it's like something that you're not quite sure what the big picture is, when He gives it to you, you have to know that He's like walking you toward a journey, and it's all for His glory, right? So it's just amazing to see how like just something that started off with I'm just going to obey.
Yeah.
And a lot of people miss I'm going to say their breakthrough or that moment of transition or that marriage or transformation because they won't just obey something simple like get up and just do something live. And it takes like you said, you like to speak. So for you, that was simple enough. It's just kind of like, but God, why me though? You know, it's always some type of, I guess, struggle. Even if it's something that you like to do, kind of like, well, wait, I don't know if I'm not qualified for that part of it, but I think that's great because through this obedience, you got to a place that you never saw yourself as an author.
And I would always pull the never card. Oh, I would never write a book. That's not me. Maybe I'll drop a CD of me speaking or something
Not
like
a
that. But
CD.
I would never write a book. I was afraid.
What is
I know
a CD?
A CD, right?
That's such a relic. Is that going to go on the Smithsonian?
What is a CD?
What is a CD? What
Everybody,
is that?
I know everybody downloading everything now, but I truly told myself written work is just not my thing.
I'm trying to figure out what have I said never to that the Lord is gonna. I don't think I've said never to too many things. I'm like,
that's smart. You're a wise woman.
Yeah, because I'm like, because Lord, if there's something in the never book, a never little category that I said and you about to birth it, that's fine.
Yeah,
that's fine. Oh well, I will say this. I said never to kids.
Wow.
I said I was never gonna have children.
And then she met your boy.
Because I was
met your boy.
and it's so funny how that works because in my mind I was like I had my experiences growing up and I was like I don't think not that I didn't want them. I was like to actually I would if I was gonna have some I was like well by the time I decide I'm gonna have one I might have to adopt, so I don't think I'm gonna have them, and because that wasn't that just wasn't my thing. That was my never. So my never actually happened twice. Bless God.
How about that?
And they're amazing.
Yes.
But so that's great. I love that story.
I love
What's going on? What is happening? There was twice, babe. It happened twice. We have 2 kids. We have 2.
Yes, beautiful.
We have 2.
Kids.
We have 2 beautiful children.
Beautiful.
2. I don't know
No.
that's how rumors get started. That's how rumors get started right there. I'm like, y'all just disregard that. That did not even happen. Okay, so tell us more about the book. So this 15 simple revelations for the millennial wife.
Yes.
So what were the things that what made you categorize it this way?
Yes, that's a good question. A lot of people are like, why millennial wives? And for me, when me and my husband first got married, we were 22, 23 years old. We were young, and we were the only married people in our circle at the time. And marriage looked different for us. We had some other marriage examples around us, but those people were, they had been married 10 plus years, or they were much older than us. And so I said, man, marriage is transforming, not in its relationship as it relates to the relationship with the Lord, or not as in its covenant with how serious it is with God, but it's transforming in just how it looks and some of the things that we face. So we have social media.
Absolutely.
We have podcasts.
Right.
We're dealing with a little bit of different pressures than what our grandparents and our parents dealt with. And so I just really wanted to speak to those women to let them know, like, y'all, marriage is possible even in modern day marriage. You know, I think that we have so many different pressures and examples on TV that are not healthy. Like, we don't have those healthy examples. So I really just wanted to speak to the wives, and I'm hearing that the age and the way people our age are talking about marriage is not really in the brightest way. Like, people are not as encouraged to be married.
But you know, it's interesting you say that, because I think it was two things. Well, it's two different things. I know recently we were on our way. We kind of carpool, and we were on our way into the city of Houston.
Yes.
and it was a statistic that came out that actually said that this generation of married persons are actually debunking the myth of divorce. There are more persons in our generation or that are staying married much longer and are not divorcing at all, which is a positive, right? I think that goes to the last thing, or the outlook that we have about marriage, because if we're going to do it, we're going to do it all the way.
Correct.
That's number one. I think the second thing I wanted to talk about was like the thought about what a millennial really is. And I know we have put these millennial groups into age and when you're born, when you're not born, but I think that with your thought process about being indoctrinized with the technology and the social media and stuff like that, I think it's not just an age group per se, it's just the mindset of the person.
Absolutely.
Because there are a lot of persons that may be late 30s, early 40s that are still not married, and they're having a struggle with trying to figure out how to make it work in this society right now.
Absolutely.
And so that's a big conversation.
Absolutely.
And it's not that they don't want to be married. It's just that they think they're competing with so many other things that's in front of them.
And I mean, even for the simple fact of women, we like attention. You know, we want our man's attention on us. Well, there's a lot of other things that can distract us all, not just, you know, with our man having their attention, but even them getting our attention. We have so many things that feed us and come different directions that we're just kind of needing to kind of take a break with that. So that's one of the things that I would certainly say, is that as things continue to come in and kind of block our way of connecting, that's something that I want to make sure that we kind of address.
Absolutely.
And you know what's really important and powerful is that you say that, you know, there are so many distractions going on, right? You know, whether it's in marriage, whether it's in business, but there's a social distraction that's going on all over this country. And Title Brooklyn is they have something that they're trying to do to combat that distraction. They are supporting criminal justice reform. Right? And they're a different kind of music brand streaming app that fosters the relationships between artists and fans and values diversity in music. And with this project, all net proceeds help support the charity organizations such as the Equal Justice Initiative, Reform, the Innocence Project, and Cut 50. What is it? It is a annual benefit concert. It's their fourth one. Now, check this out. Give you a couple of facts. 1 in every 15 African American males is incarcerated, compared to just 1 in every 106 white men. That means 1 in 3 African American males can expect to go to prison in their lifetime. More than 22% of those incarcerated or on probation or parole are stuck in the criminal justice system simply because they cannot afford bail. African American men, our brothers, receive sentences over 19% longer than white men who commit the same crimes, and over 65% of prisoners serving life without parole for nonviolent offenses are African American. There are a number of disparities regarding the treatment of our brothers in the criminal justice system. So, this concert is designed to combat that, and proceeds will go to that effort. Past concerts have included artists like Stevie Wonder, Nicki Minaj, Jay-Z, and Jennifer Lopez. There will be a free live stream of the entire show on October 23rd. You can find out more to donate to the cause and tune in at tidal.com/Brooklyn. Brooklyn, we're in the building.
Yeah, Brooklyn stand up.
Brooklyn stand up. What up? Yeah, so you know, that's a major distraction. What our brothers, our little brothers and sisters, our older brothers, our uncles, our cousins, our neighbors are dealing with, right? And that's another part of the distraction that unfortunately our sisters, the women, the wives are dealing with, right?
Yeah.
Really.
And so, you know, and with 1 in 3 males being, that's scary to me. Like, that's 30%.
I mean, and it's definitely a talking point for conversation.
Yeah.
I know that's something I tell people all the time. I was like, as a wife, in these times, I'm constantly praying for my husband, not just I'm praying for my husband, for him to do well, be a great leader of our home. I'm praying for his protection all the time.
You have to.
All the time. There's not one day that I don't pray for his protection. And I know he probably tired of me saying, be careful. But I'm like, seriously, be careful.
Yes.
He's seriously.
Yes,
So,
that's
I mean,
the
it's one of the
culture.
climate.
Yeah, it's the climate and the culture. It is
And the
what
culture,
it is.
for sure it is.
Yeah.
For sure it is. So what are your top two revelations that you want to, like, you can share?
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
teasers.
Ooh, teasers. Okay, so one of my favorite things that I talk about in there is breaking generational curses. I think that that's such a big one, especially with the millennial group that we're talking to, is because we're so heavily influenced kind of by our parents before us. A lot of us did not, unfortunately, have marriage that we got to see. They call us the fatherless generation, whether that means that your father was not in the home or was a part of your life, which typically means that you didn't deal with marriage in your home. So I kind of talked about that, and I really dive into that because I think that's something that it's easy for us to skip over. It's a little heavier topic, but I wanted to address it. One of my other favorite things in there is I kind of talk about the truth. And what I did was, because it's only a devotional, you can't be too long-winded, right? Because it's not a book.
You need to hit him and quit him.
Yeah. So after certain devotionals, I have what I call guac please, because we all know as millennials that guac is extra. So so in the book, when I say guac please, that means you get a little extra. I mean, I took some
Get a little
time to
extra.
elaborate. Yeah. And in one of those sections, I'm talking about elaborating a little bit on intimacy and how intimacy and what that looks like for a millennial generation that has seen intimacy on social media so much and on TV so much, and how that impacts you and how God can either restore that or how even to renew your mind.
Yeah.
And so I would say those are my two favorite ones, totally on the opposite spectrum, but those would have to be my favorite.
And it's so funny that you talk about the fatherless generation, because I think it's so much, maybe the emphasis is there only because we have so many platforms to communicate and we can have the conversation in detail. But the fatherless generation is not a new thing, right? Our grandparents have, our grandmothers probably dealt with that as well, because that's why we've seen like so many bigger families. Maybe that Papa was a Rolling Stone type of thing, because that fatherless generation, like you said, it is a generational thing. And we saw a resurgence of the man in the home, and then a leaving of the man in the home. And it goes up and down, and this generation is dealing with it even more so, I guess, visually.
Yes.
Because because again, we have these different platforms that we have. Everyone sees everything.
Absolutely.
And so it's just interesting to see how we're attacking it now versus how our grandparents had to attack it, because they could not attack it.
Yes, the pressures are different.
The pressures are different.
Even the conversations that we're having, even in our grandparents' generation, things were a lot more private. There was family dynamic, and what happened in the home stayed in the home. Now we're seeing what happens in the home is blasted on social media. What happens in the home is caught on video. What happens in the home, is really being broadcast all over. And so we're reaching a different dynamic. One, because it's on the positive, you're recognizing, oh, I'm not alone. On the negative, it's reinforcing negative behavior. It's reinforcing the things you don't want to put out there. So I think what the book readdresses is it kind of just resets and says, regardless of all of the other clutter that's going on out there, there's a truth. And there's a foundation, and let's hold on to that foundation as it relates to your marriage. Let's recenter. I'm not a fan of husband shaming or husband blaming, so I don't do that even in the book. But the book is truly about the wife and how we can be better. My quote for this book is, the secret to being a better wife is being a better woman. So my goal and my hope is that we as women, we're just better as women. Let's better ourselves. Let's love better. Let's trust better. Let's talk better. Let's speak better. So I address all of those things in a subtle way to kind of just encourage and refresh the well woman.
I love that. And I think that also gives an opportunity for a well man to have the similar conversation on the other hand, because like you said, you don't feel like your position is to shame or blame, but that also is opportunity for someone in the male persuasion to step up and kind of have a discussion with the fellas about, hey, let's be better men.
Yes,
and not
absolutely.
So I think that's a great thing.
Absolutely.
So tell me more about how do you manage or balance being a wife, being a business partner to your husband? Like, how do you manage it? I know you talked about it before, but let's talk to the people. Like, how do you manage and balance it all?
That's a really great question. So I would start by saying prayer. Right?
Absolutely.
You gotta pray if you're gonna manage anything like that. But I would just even say, man, me and my husband, we are partners.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that in every sense of the word. So we talk about our goals, and not only talk about our goals, but we talk about things like, so about dinner tonight. I gotta go live on Sunday. So you mind kind of putting something in the oven while I do this? Or, he'll even trade off and say, I got a shoot that I have to do. And then I'll say, okay, I'll fold the clothes. So it really is teamwork. And that's been an adjustment because when we first got married, we were so traditional in our roles as the traditional, he
Really?
works. Absolutely.
Wow.
He was raised by his grandfather, and me, I was
Okay.
just, from the 6th grade, I always said, I want to be a stay-at-home wife. So
Oh,
it was
wow.
just, we were very traditional in our roles, not inflicting that upon anybody
Right,
else, but
right,
we
right.
wanted that. So when life brought us 2 businesses and and a book, then we're kind of juggling things a little different, and it was a stretch, and we had to do something new and have conversations like, so maybe you need to fold clothes today, maybe I'm gonna go and work this. And so we've had to reinvent ourselves and reinvent our marriage, even dynamic of what that looks like, and being okay with saying, well, we came in this way and now doing something different.
That's very powerful because the word that I hear is adjust.
Yes.
It's a simple word,
Yes.
but the task isn't always
Yes.
as easy, right?
Yes.
Because you have dynamics in which you were raised. You have the things in which you believed as a single person, right? Or as someone who didn't own a business, who was who was an employee,
Yes.
right? Versus a business owner. So
Yes.
the different levels of understanding and thinking that you need to worry about. And I tell you, that's really, really powerful. We can relate in every sense of the word because I think from day one, we started working together pretty from year 2.
Almost, yeah, because I don't think we did ever, and I think that was it was a different
Yeah.
thing. But
Yeah.
it was for a lot of people because it was so new.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
we have to let's talk about that.
Yeah, I tell you what's not new.
What's
right?
not new?
What's not new, but what is new and what ain't gonna be new when it's new and not new.
Talk about the new.
New. I don't know what I
new.
just said. Anyway, Facebook Live, what's up, y'all? We want you guys to subscribe to our show on all the major platforms, including iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Stitcher, Spotify,
iHeartRadio.
Spreaker, YouTube, right? Review our show in iTunes with constructive feedback. Be nice. And share this Facebook Live post and the entire show with your family and friends. Donate to our mission to bring enriched and inspiring content each and every week. You can donate at www.thesphere.tv/donate. We need your coin.
Yes.
That's right. But I tell you that adjustment before that. Delanice, thank you so much. Mike, what up? Baron, we appreciate you guys
Hey,
for
y'all.
tuning in so consistently. Make sure that you go to the website, hit subscribe so you can catch the rest of this show with this phenomenal guest. But yeah, phenomenal guest. That adjustment piece, man, I think is
Yeah.
really, 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 really powerful. It's not only for marriages, right? I mean, it's easy for us as married people to hinge on that because obviously it's a passion of ours because we vowed to do this for the rest of our lives.
Yeah.
That's the one thing we're going to do longer than we do anything else.
Yeah.
Right.
Right? Is
Yeah.
be married. We'll be married,
That's
longer than we'll even be parents.
Yeah.
Because we were married before we were parents,
Yeah.
right? And so it's easy to talk about that, but from a business perspective, right? You have to adjust.
You have to.
You
and
have
give
to.
each other the grace to
Mhm.
adjust.
Yes.
Good.
That's one of the things
That's
that I'll
good.
say is, sometimes we try to go into relationships like, okay, this is what I want to do. Just a pre-warning. Let me just give you a pretense of everything that I want to do. And then when it doesn't work out like that, I'm blessed enough to have a partner that blessed me being an author. When we got married, it wasn't no book in the play. Like,
Right.
It wasn't like, this is my long dream
Right,
that
yeah,
I've
yeah.
always
It's my
had.
10-year plan, right.
It just kind of snuck up on me, and I was like, hey, book, I got a book that, I'm trying to write, and what you think about that? He said, okay, baby, go for it.
Yeah.
And just being able to be fluid, even with if it includes traveling and the different things that it may include, just being supportive in that and giving your partner the grace to say, okay, let's do something different.
Right.
Do I give you the grace?
You
babe?
give me this. You give me the grace.
Do I give you the
You
grace?
give me the grace.
That's right.
You give me the grace.
That's right.
You
Awesomeness.
give me the grace.
Oh my gosh, be appropriate. I guess. so to that end, so you talked about your balance, but together, what do you think are your top 3 or 5 lessons you've learned as an entrepreneur?
Oh, entrepreneur. Okay. Just talking business. Are you saying with my partner or just in business?
However
period?
you want to divide this pie.
I'm going to say the first thing, this one is just business. Always have you a contract. That's what I'll say. If
Well,
you in the service
let me tell you something. You don't
Okay.
gotta tell me that.
Yeah.
That's my
Listen,
wheelhouse.
listen,
Yes.
Kira's
And I don't
uncle-
let Kaylin
Yes.
do nothing
Yeah.
without
Yes.
paper.
Kira's
Yes.
uncle has his shout out to R.L.
Uncle
Davis,
Rob.
Uncle Rob.
Got
Is
to
he got this work? He always says, "Gotta get your paperwork.
Yeah.
in
Gotta
order.
get your paperwork.
Get your paperwork."
Yeah.
That's his
Paperwork
thing.
got
That's
to be
that's
in
my
order.
thing.
Yes.
Get all of the
Get that
paperwork. Just don't
Not
do this
tattoos.
side
Ink.
on the side thing. Don't do that. Like just do it the right way. That's my
Right.
first thing. My second thing is have your hours of when you working.
Mm-hmm.
Like I understand entrepreneurs, like we're gonna be out there, we're gonna get it.
Mhm.
But if you can't schedule the hours when you working, schedule the hours when you not gonna work.
Mm-hmm.
So like me and my husband, we have this thing like Sundays we off. We not
As you should be.
emailing. we not. I mean, we not opening up the studio.
Right.
We just off. That's truly our day of rest because we shoot through Saturdays. We shoot all days of the week. So we kind of like need our off day. So I would say whatever you're doing as entrepreneurs, you gotta take that time. And then I would even say, and this is business and personal, take a vacation. Like you got to take that vacation, guys, especially when you work so hard. And entrepreneurs, I know that you're working late hours. I know you're working all hours of the night. You know, I know that you just getting it where you can fit in. You probably working 2-3 jobs, you know, whatever you can. But you got to take that vacation for. We were kind of talking about it before the show a little bit
Right.
about just mental health and just being well, making sure you're good. So I would say those 3 things, like as it pertains to business. You have to have those, and I think so often we talk about like how you can get the next buy-in, the next amount of money, the next thing, and it's just like that's good. Make sure you're gonna get that.
So
those other things.
you know, we're talking business, right? And so this is very near and dear to our heart,
Yeah.
and that's talk to that couple or that person that's saying I can't work with my spouse, so I can't do that. Like I need a break. Well, talk to that person because
Yeah.
we actually worked when we first got together. I think year two of our marriage, we started working together at an actual corporation. They had
Yeah.
to go through all of this humdrum and
Yeah.
can they work together?
Can they work
They
together?
had to
We have to
get
put them in
appro-
separate places.
had to
I
get
don't know
approval
what that was about. I mean, I was like, what
we
we
had to
gonna
get
do?
approval from the board and all
yeah.
kinds of all kinds of
Oh,
things.
oh,
And
yeah.
so right, and so
The best thing they ever had, though.
Yeah.
listen, we were a
I
dynamic
believe
team
it.
in that department.
Yeah.
And so- but talk to that person that's kind of on teetering or kind
Yeah.
of figuring. I mean, I kind of want to go in business with the person I love, but they say I don't make business with pleasure, and
Yeah.
so talk to that person.
Man, there's nobody that's going to truly be your partner like your partner.
Come on now.
And I think that it's a lie from the enemy to believe that anybody else could support you in that type of way other than your partner.
Talk
And
about
I
it.
think that
Put offering
I
plate.
think that you truly have to move past yourself and recognize that you may be big and bad alone, but man, you're such a force together. And I think once the mindset of that changes, then some of the other things like how you interact with one another will change because now you recognize we on the same team. We doing this together. I think that when that mindset starts to change, that your spouse is never your enemy and shouldn't not even be perceived that way. I think that once you get over that hill, then you can start building life together.
Yeah.
That's what marriage is. You're not just building your romance together, but you're building a lifestyle together. I think the best partners are married couples. I think those are the best ones.
Listen, one can put to flight 1,000, right?
There you go. Two
10,000.
10,000.
10,000. One can get 1,000 clients. Two can get 10,000 clients, right?
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So you're stronger together. One of the benefits of two is the other person can do something that you can't, or bring something to the table that you can't. So like for me and my husband, the way that works is that I do the administration of the business. I take care of the paperwork. I take care of the clients. I say hey and all of that. But he has the artistic ability to create. My husband is a creative, and he can do that with his eyes closed. He can do that in his sleep. And even though it's inspired me to do some of the things on my own, I will never be like him. He has such an eye, you know? And I think that when you have your cheerleader working for you like that, I think that instead of taking the critiques, you can know like, My partner cooks for me.
And you know what? You just made me think about something. And you know what's great about a cheerleader? Stay with that analogy for a second. You know, we got a bunch of educators in the room. Stay with that analogy for a second. The cheerleader, even when the cheerleader's on the sideline, she, you know, you just said that being married to him, you know, some of that is rubbed off on you, and you've been able to grow and stretch in that regard. I'm sure he's been able to grow and stretch in administration and stuff like that, right? So being that cheerleader, when you look at it from that analogy, the cheerleader starts to understand, even though it may not physically have the gift to throw the football or to dunk the ball or to hit the home run. And there's no cheerleaders in baseball, but you understand what I'm saying.
Right.
But the cheerleader starts to understand the game better because the cheerleader is in the game, on the sidelines just as much,
That's
right?
why they say it's home field advantage.
Yeah, no doubt.
Home court advantage. It's not because the court in itself is different, but it's the
environment.
It's the environment.
It is the environment, absolutely. And so, I mean, I totally agree. I tell you, with working together, I do want to put a caveat. You got to two things. You got to know your partner, right?
Absolutely.
And know if what their strengths and weaknesses are, right? Be able to have those kind of honest conversations. Yes. But you also have to be able to be with the person you're supposed to be with. That's right. That's a different conversation for a different show.
That's right.
Right? But I think it's important. But it can be done.
Yeah, it can be.
Successfully.
It can be. And I think that it has to start with the success and the attitude of success. Mm-hmm. I think that's one of the things is when you go into a situation defeated, it's going to look like that. But I would encourage that person to say, if this was your only option, just how do you see this working? And then explore that option. Now, that's for the couple that truly can work together. There are some people that don't even have that desire and will do their things separately.
Right, and that's fine.
And that's fine, right. You know. But to the person where one of them is like, man, I would love to do this, and the other one, pray that person through, you know, or just pray like, God, reveal to me then what this looks like. How me and my husband first started working together, we quit so many times. I got fired. I quit working for my husband. I mean, we've been up and down working together, right? Up and down. But what kept us, honestly, was knowing that we're better together. Mm-hmm. We're stronger together. Right. When we first got married, our first job, per se, and I say that very loosely, it was ministry. We started in ministry a month after being married together. And so that taught us the hard way, how to be mature. Or at least try to be mature.
Trying to lead people and figure out what's going on at home at the same time.
Yeah. Because you're building something, and it's particularly when you're building something bigger than you. When you're building something greater than you. Yeah. My husband is so supportive, and we've had each other backs. You know, he's in the studio today making sure just to support me, and we're not doing it together today. And I've done the same. There are times where, as much as I love to talk and I can speak, he's been on the platform. You know, and it's never one of the things that I will caution the person who's saying that you can't work with your spouse is be leery of how the enemy will try to bring in jealousy. And I think people don't talk about that because they're like, oh, I'll never be jealous of my spouse. Please. It happens all the time. Right. And that was one of the biggest things is never envy your spouse. What you gain, y'all gain together.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's so powerful, and that's really phenomenally dope. But, you know, we're talking with Dannie C. Kelly, author. She's a slash person. We're talking with the author. We're talking with the public speaker. Yes. We're talking with the preacher, the business owner. We're talking with, you know, the person that's just doing it all. And she does it with a phenomenal smile. In fact, this portion of the show is sponsored by Elite Dental Wellness. At Elite Dental Wellness, our vision is to create a welcoming practice that will offer exceptional dental care and a lifetime of dental wellness. We are committed to the finest possible oral care and overall health and well-being of our patients. Elite Dental Wellness is built upon a foundation of integrity, expertise, and service. Through our commitment to modern dentistry, continuing education, and friendly atmosphere, we strive to make our patients feel that they are part of our family. Now, dentistry can be scary. It can be daunting and uncomfortable. But Dr. Batiste and her team works tirelessly to ensure your comfort. Make sure to make your appointment today with Dr. Ashandra Batiste at Elite Dental Wellness by calling 713-789-8680. Bling. That's right. I tell you, it's really important that you know that that smile is like a perspective thing, right?
Yes.
It's one of those things that it helps you. It helps keep you right. It helps keep you centered. It helps keep you
Yes.
focused. It really does.
Yes.
And you know, smiles are contagious.
Yes, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you see-
Absolutely.
but smiles are also confusing to some people.
Yeah, they can be.
Like I remember when I was in school, I was in undergrad. People would always say, "Don't man smile that much." I was like, "What kind of who you around? Well, you around folks that want
Miserable?
Yeah, ain't nobody got time for that, man.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
seriously, life is. I'm breathing, so I
Yeah.
got a chance to get it right and get it
Yeah.
better because I'm on
Yeah.
this side. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I tell you, it's amazing talking with the author. Talking with you, Danny. So kind of let's talk a little bit more about the process of writing a book.
Yeah.
How was that?
Interesting. So the first way that I started, like I said, I pulled everything that I had off of Facebook, which
I
was
bet
only
that was
one or
fun.
two sentences. Oh my gosh.
Going back through the wall.
I
take
know.
that off.
I know.
Talk about tedious.
Once I finally put it into categories, it was a process because then I had to decide which revelations am I going to choose from?
Mm-hmm.
So then I chose that, and really I just put on like music, and I just said, okay, God, I remember being a first time, but I mean an early wife for the first year, and I
Right.
remember feeling so alone. Can you take me back to that place?
Mm-hmm.
Take me back and remind me of some things that I wish somebody would have told me.
Right.
So I just began to write. Again, I was intimidated by writing. So I just said, okay, I just got to get this out. Don't worry about the grammar and the spelling and the such and such. And
Yeah.
I
Let's
just had to
the
get it.
content
Yeah,
first.
I just had to get it out. Once I got everything out, then I start to kind of structure things and day by day and come up with titles and get into my word to see what scriptures the Lord was going to give me. So once I had my rough draft finished, I said, okay, I'm just going to say I'm done. I'm going to give it to the editor. I went ahead and got it to the editor, and they tore it up. But, it came back and gave me everything I needed. I would say the most intimidating part for me was creating the book cover. I created my own book cover. I know.
Hey,
I
I
know.
love it.
First time created my own book cover. And I would say
You talking about you not a creator?
I
Knock
know.
it off.
that's my husband, that's my husband's doing. Like, he's always just been like, either I can do it or you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, well, teach me. And he did. He sat down and he taught me. And so I would say that was the most frustrating. Even the format, a little bit that's different about my book is that each chapter kind of just has a little graphic before each chapter. So that was something that was new. I had to print in full color, just not the black and white. So finding the proper publishing company that was going to publish it and do it well. All of those things, because this wasn't my dream, I didn't know what was like right and wrong.
You just jumped in the pool.
Yeah, I'm just jumping. What is the ISBN? Kinda
Right,
like,
yeah.
What are we doing? Yeah. So,
Library of Congress. What?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah. All of that, just like what am I supposed to say on the copyright page? What am I so all of that was so new and honestly was very intimidating. At every step of the way, I kept feeling like, oh, I'm getting in over my head. What am I doing? What am I doing? But the Lord just kept like sending me sweet reminders to just say, keep going, you got this, and just sending me help along the way. And before I knew it, it was done, and I had my first sample, and I just I have a little clip on
You do.
Instagram, on
You
Facebook
sure do.
when I
You opened the box. Yeah.
That was my genuine first expression.
What was it?
Yes.
Okay. So wow. All right.
That was my first expression. I had been waiting for my sample to get there, and the doorbell rang, and my husband goes, I think that's your book. And he runs and goes to get it, and he's like, I'm about to open it. And I was like, you can't open my book.
It's a felony to open somebody else's mail.
And so when I was opening it, I was literally opening. I had not seen it.
Wow.
And I said, okay, let's just see. And so that was my genuine expression.
That's dope.
I mean, the video, I only posted like 30 seconds of it, but I think I got up and just started dancing and screaming. And
Yeah.
I mean, I just had a moment.
Running
'cause-
around. I mean, you should. You should. When you were talking. I know you kind of saw me look off because I thought about, God. Your book is Revelation, and I just got one. God did
Yeah.
not call us to be perfect.
Yeah.
You said you were worried about at first worried about the grammar and
Yes.
you worried about the punctuation and
Yes.
then he just look.
Yes.
we didn't learn how to. Nobody just knows how to swim coming out the
Yes.
womb. You got to jump in that pool and just
Yes.
do the work. The
Yeah.
perfection will come after
Yeah.
a while. And so I think that's a really motivational story and a good lesson
Yeah.
from what what you
Yeah.
have conquered and overcome.
Yeah, and I would even say another level of confidence. When this isn't your dream, you start to doubt, like, are people going to think I'm overstepping, or are people going to accept this?
Yeah.
Because, and you start comparing yourself to people who have 10 books or who have done this. So it really took another level of confidence in God to say, listen, I'm doing this because you said, and being okay with that and accepting that. So yeah. I would definitely say
I tell you, man, and it's really inspiring because on a personal note, I've been working on the publication for just
yeah.
for years,
Yeah.
but I'm getting in my head because I do love to write.
Yes.
I adore writing. My wife and I,
Yes.
that's one of the things that help us fall in love with each other, and
Yes.
that's probably how we began to work together.
That's
because
good.
both of us are very, very good writers, but
Yes.
very good writers and creatives are also very sensitive.
Yes.
and very
Erykah Badu
protective.
voice.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
I'm
I'm
sensitive
sensitive
about
about my.
my-
You know what I mean? And
And
so
that was a big one.
that was a
Yeah.
big one because we was letting each other edit each other stuff, and she give me
Wow.
and she's giving me edits, and I'm.
And it's so funny 'cause
and
he was like,
and she's
I said,
giving her,
"Are
and
you
I'm giving her,
okay?"
and I'm
And
giving
he
her
was like-
edits, and she's like, okay. whew,
But
all right.
that was I told him, I said,
You know, that was-
I
it's
said-
hard.
I actually said to him, I said, this is very hard for me, but I need you to do it because I have to get better.
Yes.
And it was for me, it was like I think I had to verbalize that
Yeah.
so he can hear it. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm doing this because I need to get better. So
Yeah.
I was like, and then when
So do it, but be careful.
not even
like
the
that.
be careful thing, it was more of a I need you to look at my stuff.
I got.
I need you to look at my
Yeah,
stuff.
that's
And I
trust.
didn't, and then I said, when I need you to, we had to kind of grow through that. I said,
Yeah,
I want
we
you to look
did.
at my stuff, and I want you to look at my stuff. Like, I
Yeah.
need you to tell me if there's something off.
Yes.
Because if it's off, that's not my work. Like, I'm a
Yeah.
low-key perfectionist. I'm
Yeah.
like, I needed
That's
to.
not your workmanship, right?
Yeah.
That's not my workmanship. I said, so if I go back and I have to change 15 things, I'm like, babe, I need you to really look at it.
Yeah.
Don't be light on me. Look.
And now it's funny. When I say we both adore writing. I've been a published poet since I was 17 years old, and so Kira has been. She's an attorney for doggone that gummit.
Yes.
Like that's what y'all do is write. Like it is what it is, and so I think that portion of it was so strong and was so powerful because we were able to grow through that, and that's how we figured out we could work with each
Yes.
other, because that was one of the most vulnerable things that we could have
Yes.
that we could create individually, and we gave each other that space. So
And so many blessings came from it because
Yeah.
of that vulnerability, and the doors started opening, and then people started calling for you to write, and you started getting things started going to different magazines, like but it was the vulnerability had to be
Yeah.
there.
yeah, and it got to the point. Funny story that we can move forward. It got to the point where there'll be sometimes with those publications, I was blank, and I said, I got a title. I said, baby, do this for me. She knows how I write so well. She get it done in 45 minutes. I'm like, yo, this is
That's
better than.
partnership.
Hold on, this is better than what I would have done. Wait
Yeah.
a minute, hold on. I don't know if I. You know what I'm saying?
Call me
And
the
so-
ghostwriter.
Yeah, seriously, she's
Yes.
ghostwritten a couple of the articles that I've had
Yes,
published.
absolutely.
She's ghostwritten them, like,
Yeah.
because I'll have phrases.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make this connect to this. I have
Yeah.
no idea how to do it. I'm tired. I'm sleepy.
But
I got
that's teamwork.
35 papers to grade. Yeah, shit, get here, baby.
Yeah.
Boom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, and that comes with that time. But
Yeah.
but again, just to underscore, we certainly agree that spouses who want to work together can work together if you want to.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you
And
want
well,
to.
work together
Facts,
well.
Facts.
Enjoy each other.
I wouldn't want to do life with anyone else.
Hey.
I wouldn't want to do it with anyone else.
How
Hey.
about that?
And with that being said,
Yeah, with that being said, listen, I wouldn't want to record anywhere else.
I mean, and I would do it right here at the Sphere.
Yeah, you would.
I would. So if you are starting your business and looking for a place to advertise, do you need to reach out to thousands of people across the world to build your brand or sell your product? If so, get your product placement and advertising needs handled right here at the Sphere. We offer a wide variety of content delivery platforms, including iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, YouTube, and Stitcher. Plus, we have a vast demographic reach within the United States, as well as modern countries across the globe. Our enriched content and inspiring dialogue, coupled with your strategic ad, is surely to hit the mark every time. Call us today at area code 832-772-7789 or send an email over to advertise@thesphere.tv. Again, the number is 832-772-7789 or email us at advertise@thesphere.tv.
I mean, this please advertise with us, because we love to have great shows and we love to have phenomenal time. And gosh, we're already at 45 minutes. Let's jump into a couple of topics real quick.
Well, let's talk about something I think everybody needs to talk about.
Yeah.
What's about this kingdom wealth? What about this $1 billion?
Look here.
If you won $1 billion in this mega billion,
Right.
what would you
Man.
do with it?
Go ahead.
Oh my
Go ahead,
gosh.
Danny.
Ooh, let me think.
So let's put it in context. You're not gonna win $1 billion. You're gonna win about 580 million.
Right,
You know what I'm saying?
right.
That's more
Only
than your
as I
salary.
roll my eyes.
right.
Right. With 500 million, what would you do?
Okay, so right off the bat, tithes. We know we're gonna pay that. Take care of all the debt.
Yeah,
Not
that's
some.
some.
Now, all of it.
Every ounce.
Because I don't understand this. People like they be like, well, I'm just gonna pay this at first. No, you
No, I'm
you go
taking
pull
care of
out
all of it.
all little monthly drafts and then the stuff you got deferred and all of them
Absolutely.
forbeared and all that.
Absolutely.
Get this check one time.
I'm pulling
one
the
time.
entire credit report and going line by line. I need to pay them.
Right.
I'm dialing the
Like,
number.
I didn't even know I owed them, but here,
Right.
take it anyway. I don't
Go
know.
ahead.
I'm
I
not
could
disputing
dispute it.
nothing.
I'm like, I could dispute this, but whatever. Go on, take this.
I'm not
Yeah,
disputing
take
nothing.
it.
We gotta
Take
get
it.
rid of all of that, and then invest. Like
Absolutely.
I've always wanted to invest.
I want a nice portfolio.
Yeah. I wanted some diversity in the portfolio.
Absolutely.
So, and then after that, just travel.
Look here, come on,
Listen.
Travel. And write some more
Travel
books.
the world. Yeah, definitely.
You know,
Definitely.
so you got the bug now?
Yeah, I do. So when God
That's
gave
dope.
me this, He actually gave it to me in a 5-part.
Oh, that's right. You
series.
did say it was part.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be good.
So this is only 15 of the 100. So this is 15
on.
simple revelations. This one's for the millennial wife. So there'll be
She
some
said
more
100.
coming for
That's
different
dope.
things.
I love
Yeah.
it.
I was like, she said the 100. I was like,
We
she
gotta
was
talk
talking
offline.
about
We
the
really
night. I
gotta
was like
talk
the
offline.
300, the 100.
We really got to talk about that. That's
Yeah.
dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
Now, what are we going to be doing now? Let's talk about this. Let's talk about what's happening as our social sphere has transformed, and a lot of our hip hop OGs
Yeah.
have become very politically woke.
Okay.
And so I know you all have been following, or I'm guessing you have been following some of the things that have been going on with the Kanye West, Kanye's visit to the White House, on, and then some of his peers or his colleagues' responses to it, the T.I.s, the Snoops, and all that stuff. Well, T.I. actually made a teaser video about his new album that's coming out, and he had in the video, it looks like he's in the Oval Office.
Okay.
He has on this green, I feel like Joker suit. I think that's what he was trying to really go for, I think.
Yeah, that's what I felt like too.
I felt like that. He didn't say it, but I felt it's where he was going.
Okay.
But he also had a Melania lookalike in the video who had on her adult gear, her adult, I'm going to say adult dancer gear.
Okay.
And
Provocatively dressed.
Provocatively dressed like an adult dancer.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
And so Melania's camp is asking for people to boycott T.I.'s album. Now, who in her camp and follows her is going to be boycotting T.I.'s album? That's what I want to know. Let's start there. And that's number one. Who from your following, ma'am, is boycotting T.I.?
Yeah, who's even listening to him in the first
Like,
place?
exactly who?
Right.
Because
Who?
his followers don't like
Who?
y'all. Well, your
Right,
husband
who?
anyway.
Who?
Who's your influence?
Like-
Really gonna say,
Right.
You know what?
You know what? She's
Can't
right.
listen to this anymore.
Right.
I'm like, come on, Melania. Yeah, come. I mean, we.
Yeah.
If,
You know,
if that, if
Yeah.
that was former First Lady, Obama, yeah, of
Yeah,
course,
we might,
you
we
know.
might be able to be like, okay, no, we're not
Right.
following
Right.
you, T.I.
Or
But
if that
no,
was some of
who?
Bill Clinton's followers,
Y'all,
or somebody,
I
you know
feel
what
like
I mean?
you wasted characters or even tweeting that out. Y'all need
It's a
to,
waste of
y'all need to
Yeah.
boycott his new album. Who are you talking to?
Yeah.
Like, who is your
Who's
audience?
y'all?
Like, who is the
Yeah,
y'all?
That's gonna
That's-
do what you said.
Because he's not a crossover artist, right?
right. So who?
Absolutely not.
So who were they talking to? So I just thought it was funny. I thought it was
No, I agree.
newsworthy enough to be
Yeah.
like, okay, so do we now? The serious conversation is what is that what needed to happen because she is the first lady? Or- because I think she's very much aware of her past, right?
Sure.
And I don't think she's never denied that's who she was and what she did.
Right.
And the video itself was not derogatory. It was a resemblance of somebody who she used to be.
Yeah.
So is that something they were in response to the fact that she's only the first lady? You know what I mean? Would they have
Yeah.
done that at any other time? Would she even
Yeah.
cared?
Yeah. I think that's interesting. I think it's absolutely because she's the first lady.
Yeah.
Every other woman is in a video or depicted in the video or represented any other kind of way, and we're not boycotting those videos.
Right. I'm like
Actually
Melania,
retweeting them and sharing them.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
sharing it.
I'm like, Melania, we know that
Right.
who you were, like, or like we know you're not that person anymore. It is,
Yeah.
I'm like, come on,
Yeah.
let's be serious
absolutely.
now. Let's
Yeah.
you've never denied this is who you were.
Correct.
There's
correct.
magazines to prove it. I mean,
Right.
this is what it
Yeah.
is. Okay.
Correct.
This is interesting.
It
It is
is.
very interesting, but it is what it is. Another conversation I thought was, or interesting note in the news this past week was Remy Ma. Now, I don't necessarily listen to Remy Ma, but I know who she is.
Right.
And she was on Revolt, right?
Okay.
A Diddy station, and
Yeah.
there's a show that Joe Budden hosts, and she was one of the guests, and they were talking about the use of the N-word by non-blacks. And she said she usually does not get offended with the use of the N-word. She said, she works with Fat Joe. He says it, but he's Spanish. But she was like, she never questions if he means it in a derogatory way because where they're from, that's a norm. She was like, and for her, it's not about ethnicity or nationality or race. It's just, for her, it's just a word. What do y'all think about it?
I think it's real. It's real contextual, right? Here in the South, it's not just a word.
Yeah.
It's not just a word. Culturally, we're not used to hearing non-black say it, and then even the debate about African Americans, about black folks saying it is present, right?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm
You know-
not even a fan of the word just in general.
Right.
Even and I'm
It mu-
black.
Yeah,
so-
right. And so
Yeah.
there's that dynamic as
Yeah.
well. I literally a few weeks ago I came home and I had to tell Kira I had to check this lady at the store. Like, yeah, no, you're not gonna say that. She was with us. She was Latino,
Yeah.
and she probably grew up around us, and then
Right.
it was comfortable. But I
Yeah.
listen. I'm a dad, so I done got real bold in talking
Yeah.
to people. I
Yeah.
told her, I said, you can't say that around me.
Yeah.
You got to chill out with that. Like,
I think context is good. I
Yeah.
think it's kind of like it's one of those things when you get around your grandparents, you say yes, ma'am,
Mm-hmm.
no, ma'am, yes, sir, no, sir. But when we're in the room together, I don't
Yeah.
go yes, sir,
Right.
yes,
Yeah.
ma'am. So I would just say like. We're in the climate and we're in a culture where that word is just kind of being tossed to and fro. And if that's what people are going to do, I think they do that in the comfort of where it's been okayed for them. But to just go out and feel like you have the green card everywhere to say what you want to say, I think there's a place and a time.
Mm.
for that.
And my feeling about it, I'm like, I just really wish that if we're going to make a license that is only a black person's word, because for whatever reason we feel like we can use it when we want to, we just need to take just take it off the table completely.
Agreed.
And or let everybody ride. It's gonna be either one or the other, because
Yeah.
we can't throw it out so casually amongst one another and
Yeah.
then turn around and be like,
Yeah, that
but
double
you
standard.
can't say
Yeah.
it. Like,
that's
but why?
what-
But they're not talking to you. They're talking to their friend. And you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Sometimes it's not even directed. It's
That's
directed to
true.
their
That's-
friend.
that's true.
And I think we need to. And I think
That's
we need
true.
to be able to recognize that, like, if they're not talking to you,
Yes.
and they're talking to their friend, and
Yes.
they're talking as if they were just like you and your friend,
Yeah.
why is that so offensive to you?
Absolutely.
It's the same thing as what I feel about women who call each other bees. I'm
Yeah.
like, you don't want a man calling you a bee.
Be ready to
Yeah.
fight.
you
Or
call
the
your-
garden tool.
Right. But you'll call your homegirl or you know what I mean, and say it like as if you're saying, "Girl, you're amazing." Like, no,
Right.
it's either you're going to be really mad about this word
Yes.
when anybody uses
Yeah.
it and check everybody, or
Yeah.
you're not going to use it at all. Like, I think that is, to me, it's the most aggravating
Yeah,
thing,
I would
because
agree.
I'm like, can I really be mad if someone else is using a word that I use so casually?
Yeah.
Like, is that right?
Yeah.
Like, at what point do we stop the madness? Because I feel like that's where all the confusion comes from. Because we're like, okay, so exactly when can I not use it? Because I'm just talking to my friend, and me and my friend are talking, using it just the way you guys use it, and
Yes.
you don't see offense when he says it. So why should we see offense?
Yes.
You know,
It's very dynamic.
it's
Yeah.
a dynamic thing,
It's very dynamic.
and I think, honestly, and people might disagree, I think we are what's the word I'm looking for? I think we take part in the reason why it is so weighty,
Yeah,
because we respond to it so weightily. You know what I mean? We respond to it in such a way as if we are still in that place. And just and I know you know this, if you studied the culture of English language or the history of English language, that whole that whole thing about the word itself wasn't even the word that we're saying right now. It actually was a word that meant black, and it came from a
Right.
European country.
Yeah, it was Latin
And
based.
Negos, how do you ever you say it?
Negus.
Negus
means
was
king.
actually what means king.
Yeah.
So why
The
are we
Swahili
making?
word for
So
king.
why are we? And it just when it travels, just like anything else, just like when you play telephone, when it travels,
Yeah.
it changes. People start saying it differently.
Yeah.
But did it ever lose its meaning?
Yeah.
And because it's so because I think as time continues to go, the meaning will be less and less and less. You still have generations
Yes.
who experience the original meaning of the word in terms of how it was in this country.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Our parents,
Yeah.
the baby boomers, they were alive during civil rights. They were the ones who went. So we didn't have to. I mean, we dealt with it a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And of course, it's around even more. But I think as the time continues to go, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
The word will become less and less powerful.
Yeah.
I tell you something that else, something that is very powerful, and we are, and I think we can end on this note. We are in voter season.
Yeah.
We are in voter season. Super Tuesday is around the corner, November 6th,
Yes.
all over the country.
Yeah.
But voter suppression still is real. It is what it is. Voter suppression is something that's real. Gerrymandering happens. Redistricting happens, but also even small little seemingly innocuous things, and so can happen as well. So in Georgia, Isaac Hayes' son went and got on Instagram, and he showed how, oh gosh, let me get it right. He showed a website that had all of places where you can vote. You click the link and you could find out places where you can vote. He said he clicked it one day, it worked. The next day, once early voting started, right? The links are dead. It has been moved. It has been moved to some back page. You got to go digging and clicking and clicking and digging and knowing and clicking to find out where the information was. So still, it was public information because it was on the internet.
Yeah.
But
As required.
As required, right? But the loophole is it ain't got to be in a certain place.
Right.
As long as it's on the internet. And so that's voter suppression,
Yeah.
right? Literally the day before voter registration, before early voting started,
Yeah.
all these links were active. They were live.
Yeah.
The next day, the day that the early voting started, they're gone.
You gotta find it.
And there's a heated race,
Yeah.
In
gubernatorial
Georgia?
race in Georgia. Heated race. And it's one of those states that's, we know the history of the South, right? And so that just know that pay attention to whatever you have going on. Make sure you're registered. We were talking about provisional ballots. Go ahead and give the game about provisional ballots. But what provisional ballots are is if you go and you're registered, and they say if you go to vote and they say, well, you're not registered, well, you still can vote. What happens is you have to ask for what's called a provisional ballot. And a provisional ballot, you vote. They sit your vote to a different side. Then they go back on the back end and find your registration.
Wow.
You see what I'm
Okay.
saying? And this
Yeah.
is countrywide.
Yeah.
This is not just a state of Texas thing. This is around the country.
Yeah.
Provisional ballots exist. So if you go and you have all your ID and they say, well, we still don't see you. I'm here. Give me a provisional ballot, please.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Then you can still fill it out like normal. Go to here in Texas. We go to the
Yeah.
machines.
Yeah.
You vote, and then they go off and send your vote, and they find your registration to make sure it's
Yeah.
active. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so most states were past voter registration. So now it's just time to vote. Early voting here in Texas, for those of you who live in Texas,
Yeah.
early voting here in Texas
Yeah.
starts October 22nd. So make sure,
around the corner.
right next week.
Yeah.
Make sure Monday actually.
Literally around the
literally
corner.
Monday. Yeah, Monday in 3 days.
Yeah.
And so make sure that you go out and exercise your right to vote.
Go
Danny,
vote, guys.
this has been phenomenal.
Oh, thank you. It's
Listen.
always a pleasure.
Listen, let people know where they can find you,
Yes.
when they can expect to see the book, where they can expect to get the book, all of that
Yes.
good jazz.
Yes, so as of right now, the ebook is available on Amazon. Again, the title is 15 Simple Revelations for the Millennial Wife. It's a bright pink and gray cover, so you should easily find it. My name is Dannie C. Kelly, so even if you just Google it on Amazon, you'll find me. And you can pre-order the ebook. The ebook will be released automatically if you pre-order on November 4th. So that's the release date is November 4th. And then the actual book for the hard copy is November 13th. That's November 13th for the hard copy. It'll be available on Amazon, on my website, on Barnes and Nobles. You should be able to get it. Just Google me.
Yeah. Go. So spell it out because we do have audio only as well. 'Cause
Yes.
They hear Danny.
Yes,
Spell
Dannie.
out.
It's DANNIE. So that's Dannie, DANNIEC Kelly, KELLY, not EY, just KELLY.
There it is.
So Dannie C. Kelly.
Dannie C. Kelly, and is it DannieCkelly.com?
Yes.
There it
I'm
is.
actually releasing the website next week.
There it is.
Yeah.
Look, we are excited. We are super, super excited. Well, listen, it's been a phenomenal show. It's been an amazing time talking with our good friend, our sister, our covenant partner, Dannie Travoy. Shout out to her husband, our friend, the cameraman today, Travoy Kelly. He's the shooter.
Boo.
He's the shooter. Bang, bang. No, I'm just playing. No, not at all. Listen, I'm Kalen Laws, a.k.a. Senor Wapo. You can find me on all social media outlets at SENORGUAPO713. And you can also find my wife, The Modern Day Cindy, on Instagram. That's The Modern Day Cindy with an I, not a Y. Make sure you give us a like, DM us, let us know what you want to see, how we're doing, connect with us so we can continue to bring phenomenal content each and every week for you guys. We love y'all so much, and we'll see you next time.
Peace.
I need